So as I said that, you have to invest your own time to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then learn a language, let's say 30 days, right? And then you have to spend some time, let's say Selenium, 45 days, then GitHub and Jenkins. That will again take, let's say 15 days. Okay. From the learning side, 15 days. This picture which I have shown you is different thing. It's like how much time to become a better into this, but learning part you can do it in these many days. It's like this. Okay. Now let me show you that why automation is important. So earlier, if you know, theoretically, the thing is that the application were developed in waterfall model, or we say sequential, phase by phase developing a project. It's like this. So earlier, 10 years back or 15 years back, most of the companies were using waterfall model, where the projects were big, like 6-month project or 1 year project. So they were doing it in sequence, like there will be requirement gathering and analysis will happen for 20 days. Design will happen in 12 days. The real coding and the implementation will happen in the next 68 days. Testing will happen on next 30 days. Then deployment will happen, and then maintenance will continue. It's like this. The problem with this kind of model was testing was happening at the later stage, very lately. And if you find a bug or the defect, it's difficult to find out where was the problem. So when you backtrack it, it's difficult. Was it a problem in the coding? So maybe the development team will say, no, we did the coding based on the design. The designer will say, we did the design based on the requirement, something like that. Or it will be difficult to backtrack, and it will be time consuming on finding the root cause and resolving it, retesting it, right? It's difficult. So now to solve, the solution to this is, now most of the companies are following agile methodology. Okay. Or if you heard about sprint, scrum way we are doing it, right? So it's like projects are developed again in 6 months. Let's say there will be release, but there will be smaller releases also within, let's say, next 15 days. We'll design something, we'll develop something, we test it, and give it to the customer, so that we will have a feedback from the customer. Earlier, what was happening, only after 6 months the customer was able to see that, okay, how the software is working, right? But in this kind of model, it's now easier. Every 15 days something is delivered, tested, then again in next 15 days again something is new delivered. The old bugs will be resolved in the next sprint, and then again something is delivered. It's like this. But again, there is a problem. The problem is, from the testing point of view, every sprint you are creating some new test cases. In every 15 days you are creating test cases, and in the next module you will create again, let's say, 30 new test cases. But you have to execute the old 10 test cases again, which will become regression cases, let's say. So in this module or this sprint, you have to execute 40 test cases. Then again on sprint 3, let's say you will create 20 new test cases to check new features, right? But again, you have to execute 40 old test cases also. This 30 from the sprint 2, 10 from the sprint 1. So what will happen? One by one, sprint by sprint, the number of test cases are getting increased. The number of test cases are getting increased, but the time to execute it is still same. So for example, sprint 1, you created 10 test cases and you got 2 days for the execution. In sprint 2, you are creating, let's assume, 15 test cases plus 10 regression cases. So still 2 days for the execution. Sprint 3, you will have 20 new test cases and the previous 25 test cases. Still 2 days of the execution. Once you reach sprint 12, there will be 200 test cases, but still there is 2 day or 3 day of the execution. There is a problem that now you may miss some of the functionality to test if you are doing it manually. That's why automation is important. So what automation can do, if your 200 test cases is taking 1,000 minutes to execute manually, which may be like 16 hours, if you're doing it continuously, humans cannot do the things continuously, right? So you take a break and all, but maybe through automation, you can reduce it to 3 hours. It's possible. It's possible. I'll show you the real practical example. So for example, we were showing this particular website, right? Let me log out from here. Okay. So this is the website. And when you do it manually, you have to open the browser. You'll be putting the proper user ID and password. You will click here and you'll be able to see this. Probably it will take, let's assume 1 minute or some other flow. I am taking very simple flow, right? In automation, you can write some code. This is Selenium code. This is a very simple code as of now, where you are opening the browser, you are opening the particular website, then you are finding the login link, you are putting the user ID, some invalid one, you are putting some password and clicking on that login button. And once you will run it, right? This will get executed within, let's say, 16 to 17 seconds, right? But the thing is, the bigger flow will take less time then. This is just a simple login part. So let's see, I'm not doing anything now. It's happening automatically. This will click on the login. This will put the user ID and the password. And then I'm not doing anything here. It is going to put the password. It will be very fast. I have made it slow. I have made it slow for the demo purpose only. Okay. Otherwise, it's very fast. I have put this, sleep of 5 seconds, sleep of 5 seconds. Sleep means it's like getting pause, right, while executing it. So we are going to learn all this kind of code. And believe me, Selenium is easy. If you learn it through a guided way, if you learn it properly one by one, understand it, do your own practical also, it's easy. It's not difficult. So these are the things we are going to learn. I was coming back to this. So how the systems, how the applications are developed nowadays, it's like this. Uh, it's iterative plus incremental model. When you're creating the software, it's like you create something and then deliver it to customer. That okay, something is working thing is there. Then customer will say, no, I want this hand to be there in another hand. So you will correct it, you will deliver another module. Let's say your end product as a software is this. So this is just a pictorial view of how softwares are developed. It's like you deliver something valuable and at the end you deliver, the whole working thing which can satisfy the customer as an end product, right? So this is iterative model. This is incremental model. You're developing module by module something, and at the end you will reach to this. So we do iterative plus incremental model most of the time when you are following these models. Okay, fine. That's it for today. If you have any query, let me know now.